Imagine dropping your kid off at camp, swimming lessons, at a new school, in the care of somebody or someplace. Something is triggering off their asthma and they don't know how to advocate for themselves. Can you imagine? Very scary, right? Today, I want to share with you all how to advocate for your child if they have asthma. How to advocate for your child who has asthma. My name is Asia Laria and welcome back to my channel. On this channel, I talk about motherhood, health, and culture, and some things in between. Today, I want to share with you all how to advocate for your child if they have asthma. I am a mother who has a kid who has asthma, and since the day of the diagnosis, I have been teaching my kid how to advocate for themselves when I am not around. I have been teaching my kid how to advocate for themselves, even when I am around, even when to tell me, you know, Mom, I'm feeling a little off, you know? So since the day of the diagnosis, I have been teaching my kid how to advocate for themselves, and it has paid off. And today I want to share with you all how I did that. Let's get into it. So asthma not only affects, the person who has the diagnosis, it really affects the whole family, the whole household, right? My kid was diagnosed with asthma at a very young age, about 3 years old. And when the diagnosis came along, in the night, the night he was diagnosed, it was very scary. It was very, very scary. Okay, and asthma is a very serious issue. It is a very, very serious issue, especially amongst the Black population, amongst Black children. Black children are more likely to be diagnosed with asthma, and Black children are 8 times more likely from asthma. That is scary. That is very, very scary. Okay, so since the diagnosis, like I said, my kid was diagnosed with asthma at a very young age, and I still spoke to my kid about their diagnosis with the help of the pediatrician and the specialist. I always spoke to them about their diagnosis, So let me get into how you're going to advocate for your child who has asthma. One, tell your child they have asthma and what that means. I would definitely do this in the doctor's office, whether the pulmonologist or the pediatrician, just to have their help. Depending on the age of your child, it may be a little easier to explain, but whether or not, still explain to your child, what their diagnosis is. Like, still explain to your child that they have asthma and what it means, okay? Because I think that's very important. 2, you're going to go over the triggers with your child, okay? And you also, as a parent, you also need to be aware of your child's triggers as well. Like my kid, I know one of his triggers. So when I hear that trigger, I'm like, oh, okay. All right. And they know their triggers as well. Let me tell you guys, we were out to eat and my son said to me, he said, Mom, do you have my pump? And I'm like, yes. Like, why? What's going on? And he didn't tell me why. He was just like, okay. And, we're at the restaurant eating. And I'm like, okay. And I didn't see that he was having any type of, potential triggers or anything like that. Next thing you know, about 20 minutes later, one of his triggers start going off. I'm not going to say what one of his triggers is, but one of his triggers start happening. But that's because I've been telling, like, he's very self-aware of himself now. So that's why he asked me, Mom, do you have my pump? Because he felt in himself maybe like he was feeling a little funny or something like that. And I'm very proud of him to even have such self-awareness, because that means what I've been, drilling in him and telling him to always advocate for himself, and like, when you feel in yourself that something is off, please tell me or tell, the nurse, the teacher, or whoever. That means it's working. And you as a parent being more aware of your child's triggers is important as well, because that also makes you advocate better for your child. When you're going to these quarterly doctor's appointments, because you're more aware of your child's triggers, you're paying more attention, you can maybe tell the doctor, I've noticed this, I've noticed that, I think we need to stay on this medication, I think we need to try something else. Or, you also too, you can research things and, let me try this, let me try that, Okay. Third way of how you want to advocate for your child if they have asthma is to go over your child's action plan with their teacher, with the nurse, the school's nurse, and maybe even the gym teacher. If your child plays sports, it may be even necessary to go over your child's action plan with, the coach, depending on how old your child is, or, depending. It may be necessary to, call up the gym teacher and also go over your child's action plan, your child's triggers with the gym teacher, with the, the new teacher, because I did that. I called up the nurse, I called up my child's teacher, and I spoke with them, and I told them these are his triggers. So when you notice this going on, just send him down to the nurse. And I told them as well, he's very self-aware as well. Okay? And one of his teachers, she was also a mom who, their kid had asthma as well. So that also made me feel really good. So she also, she's very aware of the asthmatic triggers and the signs and things like that. So that made me feel really good that, he was in good hands with that teacher. But you have some teachers who they don't have children, or they've never gone through this before. You want to advocate for your kid, So excuse me. Even in the mornings when I notice that, something may be a little off, it's winter time, you ladies already know how the cold weather affects, asthma. I call up the nurse and I'm like, hey, he'll come and see you at 12. And she's like, okay, no problem. Like, I also have developed a routine with the nurse when it's necessary. And she's fine with that too. She loves it. Like, the nurses love when a parent is involved with their child's, medication regime or routine or care plan. They love it. It's, not less work for them, but it's just, more, more people on the team. It makes it better. It makes it easier. It helps them be a better nurse, So the nurse, she loves it when I call and things like that. So not only do you want to go over your child's triggers and action plan with the teacher, nurse, and any other staff members, you also want to find out when your child has gym or any other activity that may cause your child to need their pump. So if gym is an activity that causes your child to need their pump, you want to ask your teacher, when do you guys have gym? So if gym is you know, Wednesdays and Thursdays at 9 a.m., you know, maybe you have your kid go down to the nurse at 8:45 before gym, you know, for their pump, you know, just so that they can be okay at gym and they don't get tired and they're, you know, being like, you know, everybody else, normal, you know? So you want to, just be always in communication with, you know, staff members at the school. Number 4 is to teach your child how to use their pump. Depending on the age of your kid, it may be a bit, you know, difficult, but still teach them. Still teach them. They will get better at it. Like I said, my kid was diagnosed at a very early age, and I was still teaching them then. That's when I started teaching them then. Okay? Because although at the school they may not be administering the pump themselves, but they need to know how to use their pump for obvious reasons. They need to know. As like I said earlier, asthma is a very serious diagnosis. It is very, very serious. And someone who is asthmatic, and when they need their pump, they need their pump, and they need to know how to use their pump. Put them in the care of someone else, of whoever. They need to know that mama put my pump in my bag and I know how to use it. Okay? All right. This is number 5, and this is the most important. The most important thing you can do to advocate for your child who has asthma is to teach them help statements. My kid went to camp, a new camp, where they don't know him. You know, it's a new environment. The first day of camp, I told him, the nurse has your pump. I told him, the nurse has your pump. It is there for you. Whenever you need it, you can have it as many times as you need it, okay? All you need to say to somebody is, I have asthma, I need my pump. I have asthma, I don't feel good, I need my pump. I have asthma, I need to see the nurse. I have asthma, I think I need a break. You know, things like that. Those are help statements. Teaching your child these help statements is self-advocacy. This is how your child is going to advocate for themselves. How to advocate for your child who has asthma is to teach them how to advocate for themselves by teaching them help statements. When they are in the care of others, at camp, at swimming lessons, at school, at whoever's house, and they are not feeling well, I have asthma, I need my pump. I have asthma, I need to go to the nurse. These help statements are so important. They teach your child self-awareness. They give your child confidence, okay? It also teaches your child to self-advocacy and boundaries. You know, they know, hey, I'm doing this activity, I don't feel good. I'm gonna go to the nurse. And that actually happened with my kid at camp. When I went to speak to her, I think it was like the 2nd or 3rd day, she said, you know, he came up to me and he knew to come up to me. And I was so proud of him. I was so proud of him. That means, you know, they must have been running around. He got a little tired. He knows that's the camp nurse and that she has his pump. And he wanted to take a break and he needed his pump. And I am so proud of him. I am so proud. When she told me that, I was like, wow. Wow, like it's finally paying off. It is finally paying off, and he's listening to me. You know, he's listening to me. Like, it's working. It's not going to like through one ear and out the other, you know? My nagging is working. I do want to show you all one way how I store my kids' pump in the car, because I always keep one in the car. So I just want to show you all how I store my kids' pump. Here is the case I use to store the pump. I'll just show you the chamber. And that is it. I will link it down below. It's also in my Amazon storefront. I love it. And then, so this is another great case your child can use where their pump goes in like this and closes. It's also great for adults as well. You can put it on your keychain or their keychains. It also comes with the necklace. You can clip it on and then have it around the neck. Okay, I hope this video has been informative and has helped a family out there. Remember, be honest with your child about their diagnosis. You know, reach out to your pediatrician for any type of help. Be always in communication with school staff members. Teach your child how to use their pump, their medication, and most importantly, teach your child those help statements. Okay? Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.